How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Tressa's Collectibles channel. We're here after quite a long wait between our last release and, of course, the World Championships to bring you the latest set to be introduced into English Weiss Schwarz, which is Rurouni Kenshin. So this is a pretty old title in terms of source material. I did a little bit of research on the set before coming into this. I haven't actually watched the show, but I'm here with Mike today.
How's it going, guys? I will be providing color commentary to this product opening.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of research, though. This was a manga series that originally released in like the mid-90s with an anime in the late 90s. So very, very old relative to a lot of the other titles that we have here in Weiss Schwarz. But this set is going to be focusing on the currently still running, I believe, 2023 remake version.
Correct, yes. So the original manga was wildly popular, the anime as well. And I think there's been a recent trend in the anime industry. We have things like Urusei Yatsura, or a lot of like
Urusei,
yeah. Okay. But yeah, a lot of old classics are kind of being remade with modern VAs, modern fresh coat of paint. And yeah, Rurouni Kenshin is no exception, so we are going to be revisiting an old classic in a new coat of paint today.
Mm-hmm. And then you watched the original, but like it was like when you were just a wee
lad. I was like 5 or 6, and I would watch some episodes whenever it came on TV. My brother was really into it, so I would kind of like absorb information by osmosis. I do have pretty fond memories of it, though at this point my memory of the specific events of this show are fairly blurry. But I'm still wary enough to kind of like know who all the main characters are, who's good, who's bad, their relations. So yeah, we'll be taking a look at all of those today.
Yeah. So as far as the plot goes, just a quick rundown. So our main character, Himura Kenshin.
Yeah. So the story is set in the Meiji era, which is around like 1870s Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be like right after like a period of like shogunate, and the capital was in like Kyoto and stuff. Himura Kenshin, which is this orange guy, he's introduced to us as like a wandering swordsman. He kind of protects people and helps those in need. And then we find out that he used to be actually a legendary assassin.
Yeah, like the people all like know his like legendary assassin name, right? It's like Hitokiri Batose, I think.
Yeah, Batosai or Batose. But yeah, he's renounced his past, and he wields his sword backwards now to always never use the
bladed side.
Yeah, he always used like the dull side. And the female protagonist, this person, Kaoru, she runs into some trouble with her dojo when there is an imposter that is kind of like pretending to be
him.
Yeah. And then he comes and helps out, and that's where the story starts. And then along the way, he makes some new friends and then faces some old enemies from back in the day when he was an assassin.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so and then like some of the other characters that we have in the show, like we have these guys that are in the Oniwaba,
and then there's a guy that is a former Shinsengumi, which is like the secret military police.
Right.
He used to be like a former captain of the secret military police, but he's actually like a spy for the current government and things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of like a couple of the characters in blue. Those are like set up to be initial antagonists or like
kind of like anti-heroes
right? To Kenshin, making Kenshin face his past and things like that.
Yeah.
And then eventually they go on to face like the big bad.
Yeah, because from what I looked up, this like especially this guy right here, Aoshi, right? He has like a vendetta against like Kenshin in his like assassin identity or something, right?
Right. So it's like it turns out that they're not necessarily bad. I think the current anime has probably progressed to the point where they become like on Kenshin's side. But I think the first like half of the story, like the blue guys are set up to be just like
the
antagonists of those arcs.
Yeah, not necessarily villains, but just like they are the opposing force.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the product opening, we're going to be doing our normal stuff. We're going to be doing the 1 trial deck and the 2 booster boxes. So what are the ratios that we're going to be looking at for each of these products?
All right, so for trial decks, in the modern era, every trial deck will come with a guaranteed triple rare. Every card in the trial deck can come foil, and you do have the chance of pulling SPs. For the trial deck, there is a Karu SP as well as a Rurouni Kenshin SP. You should receive 1 of each per case of 48 trial decks. And then as for the boosters, you do expect to receive 3 SPs and 5 OFRs, or if you're lucky enough to pull a secret rare, you get 2 SPs and 1 secret rare instead. So the SEC replaces the SP, and then you'll get 5 OFRs regardless. However, this set in Kenshin, or this set in English, also does have the style change where the original signatures from the Japanese VAs have been replaced with stylized stamps and quotes. Probably, again, most likely due to licensing issues. But yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at. Regrettably, we don't have the signatures, but everything else about the product is the same. And Kenshin is quite a fun set. So if you are a fan of the series, or if you want to try something new, there's a lot of really fun builds in the set. And let's start taking a look.
Yeah, all right. Starting with the trial deck. So usually I just like to open it with these little triangular tabs on the bottom. If I can just get in there. Usually I just like rip both of these up. And then you can just kind of like twist them, and then the bottom just kind of opens up like that. Very easy, and you don't have to like rip apart all your cardboard. Every trial deck, as usual, since these are pretty much like starter decks, like what would be called a starter deck in other games, they come with like the materials that you would need as a new player to get off the ground running. So you have your quick guide, tells you all the rules of the game and all of the like parts of the card and things like that. So if you need to know any of the rules, we have the quick guide here. And then we have the paper playmat if you don't have one of these nice case topper playmats, which is 1 per sealed case of booster boxes. But if you don't have one of those, you can always use the paper playmat that comes with the trial deck. And as with all of the trial deck playmats, on the back, you actually see some descriptions of what some of the cards in the trial deck do, and also some recommendations on how you can modify your deck if you get like a second trial deck, or maybe you get some like extra cards or things like that. All right. There are some really good cards in this trial deck, though. Like, really relevant cards.
I do think, in general, Bushiroad has had some really high-quality trial decks in recent times. Such so that, like, just putting 2 trial decks together will already just be a fairly good deck. So, Kenshin will be no exception.
Yeah, so our first card is going to be the Guaranteed SR, the one that just comes in the front. Also, every card has a chance of coming foil in the more recent trial decks, and so for that reason, we're going to see 1 copy of every single type of card at the very back of the pack. So if you see a card that is 1 of here, that means it comes as a 2 of in the trial deck, and if you see a card that's like 3 copies up here, that means that it'll come 4 copies, because the last copy will always be at the back. So first up we have Kenshin Himura. This is our level 0 Rico profile, as Mike and I like to call it. So it has the effect, the Rico profile in question. On play, you can discard a card, reveal the top card of your deck, and then salvage a character from your waiting room whose level is equal or lower than the level of the card you revealed on top of your deck, which is a very, very strong utility effect. Just gives you a way to discard unneeded cards out of your hand to get something that you do need, while also you get knowledge of the top card of your deck. So it does a lot of different things in 1 card, and then it also gains 1500 power on attack. This card is also used for the level 3 finisher of the trial deck, which requires you to reveal copies of this in your hand. So this is one that you will definitely want to potentially pick up a second trial deck in order, or just like buy more copies as singles, just so you can have those extra copies to use for your finisher.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with putting some number of copies in any Kenshin deck, honestly. It's just a very flexible card.
Yeah, like literally any deck can run this for the set. Our brainstorm for the set, or for the trial deck, is as usual. We have the pay 1, brainstorm 5, draw 1 for each climax you hit on the brainstorm, but also has a pretty nifty secondary effect where you can discard 1 and sack this, and then search your deck for a level 2 or higher, and then the main trait of the set is Meiji Romantic Story character, and then you add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So it's kind of like a helmet effect, kind of. Helmet being the like discard one, sack this to salvage one effect. But this one allows you to search your deck for specifically a level 2 or higher character. I'm going to be using this in an upcoming game for our standby choice game, because I think that this is a really solid card to just have to gain card advantage throughout the mid game. You can use those extra cards for like hand encores, even if they aren't like useful cards. But it can also be used to grab copies of the event off of the draws. And then later in the game, when you want to like open up a slot for your standbys, you can like sacrifice this to search for a late game level 2 or higher card. So I think it's overall quite solid.
Yeah, it's also really nice that you are able to use both effects on the same turn. It doesn't require itself to be standing or anything, so you can brainstorm, and then depending on the outcome of the brainstorm, then go for another search target, things like that. And Brainstorm 5 draw is honestly pretty good nowadays. The better card quality it gets, and the better hand fixing you have with like the rest of your climax combos and stuff, the more impressive just raw advantage will be. So sometimes you just need to hit someone, draw some climaxes or events, and then that could be the difference between hit 2 on the brainstorm or hit 1 on the brainstorm because of the brainstorm 5.
Yeah, and sometimes you just want to go through the deck more.
Exactly.
And then as you said, the more ways that you have to like hand fix, the better just like these random draws can become. So we have cards like that level 0 Kenshin that we already saw. You can brainstorm, and if you don't like what you draw, you can play the copy of the Kenshin, get rid of that, get something more important from your waiting room. And this trial deck does come with a full 4 copies of the brainstorm. Very cool. We have our level 0 bond. We'll come back to that when we get to the actual bond target. We have the level 0 Sagara. So what's the story with Sagara?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I just know he's really cool. He punches things.
He seems like the cool, like, big brother kind of character.
Yeah. I recall having very fond memories of his character, but honestly, I don't remember much about him.
Yeah. So this card is a free runner, and also if he is alone in the front row, he gets +1 level and +2500. So 3500 level 1, like just free runner. The extremely strong turn 1 going first card, and then falls off significantly any turn after turn 1.
Really good on turn 1.
Really, really good on turn 1 for sure. In order to increase the probability of seeing this on turn 1, if you want to build around the trial deck, you would probably want to have this at 4 copies, or potentially pursue a different option for your like early game plays.
Kenshin does have a good amount of really solid level 0s, so you have options. Even in his own character, you have another runner in the booster that you can consider. So.
We have the Karu. This is just during your turn, +1k, and then on play she can buff any of your characters. Now this is a really good card from the trial deck. This is one of my favorite cards for sure. Is this the one that comes SP for the trial deck? Okay.
Yeah.
So this card is a 103k Karu. On attack, she gains 1,000 times the number of your other Meiji characters. So she can get up to a maximum of 7,000 power. So really good. Allows her to swing over opposing characters. And then when she gets reversed, you can look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck to try to find a climax, add it to your hand, and then if you do, you send the rest, or if you do, you discard a card, and you send the rest to waiting room. So swings for 7k over your opponent's character. When they swing into her, you have a chance to try to find a climax for like your next turn. And then also,
she has a soul trigger.
Yeah, she has a soul trigger, man.
So this card is really nice, and it can be an easy fit into a variety of decks in Kenshin. For example, the decks that have trouble finding climaxes, like Choice or Stock Soul. Also, for the Stock Soul deck, you do want to run a good amount of soul triggers for the finisher. So this card having a soul finisher won't really impede on your ratios that much. So it's a really, really powerful card, and attacking for 7k is also just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, like this card attacks for 7k, also has a soul trigger. Like, bro,
does quite a lot.
Yeah,
good card.
And then also that soul trigger, as you said, you could use this in like 8 choice. You could grab this off of choice. So very, very strong card. Okay, here we have our level 1 combo. So this is the Stock Soul
combo, this is a Stock Soul combo. Just attacks for 7k for fun.
And then if it's in the front row center slot, it also gains hand encore until the end of your opponent's next turn. So one of the 3 copies, if you have like 3, will get hand encore to allow you to reuse it.
Yeah.
And when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you mill the top card of your deck, and then if that card was a Meiji trait character, you put it back into your hand from the waiting room. So you could potentially +2 off of just a single copy of the
because you do that effect twice on reverse. So it's potentially low quality or low selection, plussing, or sometimes you might not even plus, but it does offer a good amount of deck speed, and you can potentially go +2. So you have some trade-offs here and there. But yeah, potentially a very large resource generator, especially when it's also on a stock, so you can get quite a lot of resources off of this Climax combo.
And here we have Yahiko. So Yahiko is one of the students. Eventually, he's one of the students at Kaoru's Kendo Dojo, right? But prior to that, he's like an orphaned street urchin, basically.
Yeah.
And he has to just like kind of pickpocket people off the streets, and then he gets into some shenanigans, and Kenshin saves him.
Yeah, he like his growth during the story is one of the nice points, and he just starts manning up.
And this is a 6K Clock Encore, which is very funny because the actual set has a 6.5 Clock Encore.
Yeah, I was like, this is weird.
Like, why do they have
interesting set design?
Both of these cards?
But
like,
I mean, it's nice to have also in the trial deck as just a supplementary attacker. Sometimes if you don't get the Climax combo, this can just be something to just another way to get advantage. So not something that you're upset to see.
Yeah, especially since this one is a 6K body cross turn, whereas the other two characters at level 1 are very low defensive power. So he has a much higher chance of surviving on the opponent's turn. All right, here we have our Vanilla. This is the card that we can bond to with the level 0 Kenshin. And this card, so it's Ditch Bond. Discard 1 to bond into this. And then all copies of this on your stage get plus 1500 power and Hand Encore. So it turns into a 7K Hand Encore. Not the worst, but
not super impressive either. Definitely something that we will probably replace if you do get 2 trial decks. Just replace them with some better beaters and stuff.
Typically the like bond combination in the trial decks is usually like the first things that you would replace.
Yeah.
Okay, level 3 Sagara. This is a really strong card from the trial deck, but not one that you actually need more than 1 or 2 copies of. You are going to be using this card for his on-play effect, where you can either heal 1, or you can force your opponent to shuffle all cards from the waiting room back into their deck, except for 1 climax of their choosing. So this could be a really, really strong card to ruin your opponent's deck compression ratio if they have a lot of climaxes in their deck, but their deck is overall very small. So you could just shuffle all the garbage from their waiting room back into their deck and make it easier to stick damage.
Yeah. I do find it pretty interesting, and I'm not sure if you know the balance behind this, but I do know that some of the on-play shuffle your opponent's waiting room -1 climax back effects do require you to like rest the character. But this guy, not only does he not need to do anything, but he also can just choose to heal as well. So this card is just really, really flexible. At worst, he's a healer, and he also just is a fairly decent beater with Hand Encore, but he also just has basically no strings attached on play deck disruption.
Yeah, I think in the recent, probably the last year and a half or so, they have really been turning on the gas for these level 3s that have multiple on-play abilities that you get to choose from.
Right. So, yeah, it doesn't even check for
if you have another character or something.
Yeah, it just does it. So.
You just do it.
Yeah, we're not complaining.
Yeah. Okay, our 2-1 event. So every trial deck typically has one type of event. This one is going to be a salvage 2, discard 1. So a very classic profile for Weiss Schwarz, but still a very solid one nonetheless.
It's unfortunate that the level 1 Sagara combo can't add events. But at the same time, I do appreciate this card being in the trial deck because it allows you to just have some selective advantage, whereas the Sagara combo kind of just gives you a bunch of resources. So.
Yeah, and then so here we have 3 of our 4 copies of the stock soul, 1 of our 2 copies of the +2 soul, which does not combo with anything. And we're just moving on to red now. So this, I believe, as you called it, this is one of the cards carrying.
Yeah, really unassuming card. It's the Global 500, and then on play, mill the top 2 cards of your deck. If there is a climax amongst those 2 cards milled, you choose a character in waiting room and you put it to stock. Fairly unassuming card, but a lot of different builds of Kenshin actually do use this, and it's actually quite powerful. A lot of cards in Kenshin have the ability to top check the top cards of your deck, or just have excess resources. So you kind of just want some extra stock generation sometimes. And then also Yahiko has its own deck, and you kind of just want to run as many level 0 Yahikos as possible. And this card is definitely one of the ones you can use as well. So yeah, surprisingly goes in a lot of different builds.
Yeah. Normally, when you see like a trial deck Global 500, usually Global 500 enough or alone is like not really enough to like carry the card's second effect. But this one in particular is like quite good.
Yeah, I do think it's a classic example of a card's strength relative to the other contents of the set. Because this card is probably fairly unassuming if it were in other card pools or if it had a different name. But kind of just all the circumstances came together so that this card with that name, with that effect, with that color, just so happens to be pretty good in a couple of builds.
And next we have Karu. This is a level 0 reverser, and then on attack, when she front attacks, you can pay 1 to give one of your opponent's characters -1 level. So you could do something cheeky, like you could give the opponent's level 1 character -1 level, and then you reverse it with a level 0 reverser effect. Level 0 Yahiko. This is what we commonly refer to as the origami drop search.
Yeah, I can't believe this card is in the trial deck.
Trial deck?
This trial deck is really, really good.
Yeah, so it's a double drop search. So on the turn that this comes into play, on attack, you can pay 1, discard 2, and search 2 characters. Just the ability to filter 2 cards out of your hand for 2 exact cards that you want from your deck for just 1 stock is really, really good. And usually this card is not going to live 1 turn on the board anyway, so during the turn this card is played condition doesn't really matter that much. You're usually just going to play it, swing with it, get its job done, and then move on to better stuff on the next turn.
I quite like this card in synergy with the Sagara level 1 combo because that is a card that can allow you to get a lot of hand back in one fell swoop. So the double drop searcher will allow you to just get multiple copies of the 1/0, and you're not as pressed to not have like a clock plussing option on level 0 just because your level 1 can kind of make up for that fact.
So what you could do is like you do like maybe double Sagara and Yahiko, and you go attack with these first. You get all the cards, and then you attack with the Yahiko last.
Yeah, so it's like it's easy. It's an easy way for you to set up your level 1 combo very easily at level 0. It's also a great way for you to fix your hand into something really decent after the fact. So it's always going to be useful.
Okay, 1/1, 2/5 Kenshin counter, 2/1 level assist. On play, you can discard a card to salvage a character. Just another solid hand fix. There's quite a lot of hand fix in this now. We have the 2/1, we have the 0/0, we have this 2/1.
So. It's quite a well-designed trial deck.
2/1 Yahiko during your turn gains a trillion power. Just like swing over stuff. We have multiple.
Oh, that's a 4 of.
Okay, that's a 4 of.
And guess what? We know what we're doing at level 2 in this deck.
I guess so. And then here we have our finisher of the trial deck, which is the 3/2 Kenshin. On play, you can top check 3, add 1. Very nice way to just dig for your climax, maybe extra copies of the combo itself or the level 0 Kenshin Rico. And then on attack, you can pay 1, discard 1, and then resonate by revealing 1 copy of the level 0 Kenshin in your hand. And then you get to look at the top card of your opponent's deck, either leave it there or put it on the bottom, and then deal 2 damage to your opponent. So this could be really good. It's really good if your opponent has a larger deck.
A fresh deck that they just refreshed with.
Yeah, because if they have a smaller deck, then if you look at the top card and you see a climax, you put it on the bottom, but they're eventually going to reach that climax anyway. So it's a lot better if they have a really big deck where if you put the climax on the bottom, they will never have a chance to see it anyway because you just will never get that deep.
Exactly.
So you could like combo with like the 3/2 Sagara, which like forces them to reshuffle all the stuff back. Now they have a really fat deck that you can really make the best use of this combo.
Yeah, the synergy there is quite real. So definitely what you're looking for is either 2 copies of Kenshin and 1 Sagara, or if you have enough resources, just play Sagara and then still go into triple Kenshin.
And then this Kenshin, the name Bato Jutsu, so that's like his sword fighting style, Bato Jutsu, right? Okay, and then I also noticed looking through some of the traits. So the Kenshin cards, for the most part, they have the Master Swordsman trait, whereas the Yahiko just has Swordsman trait. And I remember during the JP reveal season, the translated traits for both were just like swordsman, even though they were like different traits. So like I didn't notice until the English version came around that they were like different traits.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then actually another interesting detail is that the level 0 Kenshin from the double R from the booster set, it actually has the Hitokiri trait instead.
That's when he's
still an assassin,
killing people.
Yeah. And then we have one of the 2 copies of the Door Climax that goes with the Kenshin. Definitely, if you are planning to optimize the trial deck and build around the trial deck cards, you will want to be replacing 2 copies of the 2 Soul with 2 more copies of the door climax.
Yeah, definitely a trial deck that is worth picking up 2 copies just to have a play set of everything. The level 3 combo, your level 0 Kenshin. There's a lot of really powerful cards in here.
Yeah, but we do have 4 copies of the Sagura already, so that's probably one of the most important things. Okay, so now we're gonna take a look at all the rest of the cards in the pack. We're gonna find out what our triple R is. And so I believe this said there's 3 possible SPs. No, it's just 2. It's
the level 0
this and this, right?
Himura, and then the level 1 Kaoru.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's see what our triple R is.
Did we see the 1-0 Kaoru?
I think the SP
the
SPs are always at the back, I believe.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, let's take a look. Waku Waku. Doki Doki. Oh, there it is.
There's Kaoru. And there's Kenshin. So I think this is the door.
Oh,
yeah, there
nice.
we go. Triple R door. Can't really see too much foil pattern since it's like dark.
Yeah.
But like, there is a foil pattern. It's just pretty subtle.
You have an alternate screenshot. It's probably like several frames after the non-foil or before. Wait, is it different?
It's
slightly different.
This doesn't even look like the same. Like you don't even see his sword. Maybe
no.
I think this is right before this. So like he's like standing and then he pulls his sword forward.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's
sort of different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sometimes the show gets pretty dark and gritty, so this is definitely one of those scenes.
I mean, like people are like sword fighting and stuff. So
Yeah,
I imagine like people are going to die in this
It's dark
show.
times in the Meiji era for sure.
Yeah. All right, so that's gonna do it for our trial deck. If you guys want some like direction on how you could go about upgrading your trial deck, we will have our trial deck plus series video coming up on the channel very soon, so stay on the lookout for that. And now we're going to do some quick cleanup and get into the first of our 2 booster boxes. Okay guys, here we go. Box 1 of 2. So you said it was either 3 SPs or 2 SPs plus 1 secret as the expected ratios?
Yes.
And then 5 OFRs. And the OFRs are all the climaxes, I presume?
No, characters have OFRs as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's 13 different OFR types.
Yeah, some of the SPs come as OFRs.
Oh, really? Okay. And then we have first, second cards. So we have a going second card in this one. This is the 1-0 door combo.
Yeah, there are 8 different first seconds to collect in Kenshin. The new box style, of course, does come with first second as box toppers. So no more exclusive PRs with unique effects that sometimes go for like $10-$20 depending on how hard they are to pull. We don't have to worry about those anymore.
Yeah, that's just going for second cards. And then also, because we're on that newer box format, 12 packs per box.
3 foils per box. The new era of Weiss also, for the most part, most sets will come with...
everything comes foil.
Everything can come potentially foils, so boxes are more generous with those foil ratios now.
Okay, so here we have the first card from the Oniwaban group.
Yeah, so Oniwaban in the set has its own specific deck archetype. So there is like a payoff if you just want to run a thematic Oniwaban deck. And we'll get to those as we see fit. But basically this guy is like the leader of that group. So yeah, also a pretty decent plussing effect.
This is an on-death summon Riki effect. Yep. And then during your opponent's turn, he is +1 level and +1500 if all of your characters are the proper trait, the Meiji Romantic story trait, that is not the Oniwaban trait.
Everything in this set has that Meiji Romantic era trait.
Yeah.
So it is nice that everything can work together, the good guys and the bad guys.
So this particular card can be run in basically any deck because it doesn't have anything to do with the Oniwabanshu trait.
Correct.
That being said, 3k level 1 might be a little bit hard for your opponent to actually kill this.
Hey, we plus or we plus.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really nice that he's level 1 on defense because your opponent can't usually like hard remove it with a level 0 hard remover. So yeah,
Right.
It's a good way to get more insurance on that.
All right, we're going to save this card for later. This card has some interaction with some other sauce. Memory kickback up. This is... Oh, I don't know. This is a trap changer? I don't remember what this trap changer is.
That goes into the 1/1 unreversible Kenshin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have run this card. Maybe.
It's fine.
Oh, this other effect is on play if you have 2 or other, draw 1, ditch 1. Wait, this card's actually like pretty neat.
Genshin's a pretty fun set.
Okay,
Speaking of fun
cards.
cards.
This is a card of all time. So this is the 1/1 Isurugi. So this card's battle opponent cannot become reverse. So he cannot reverse the opponent. Very strange effect. Additionally, also has 2 base soul. Additionally, also has this effect where when your opponent salvages at any point, not just during attack phase like normal.
Any character.
Or any character, yeah. When they salvage a character at any point during the game, not just during the attack phase, you can blind stock 1. And then if this card is in your back row, you can pay 4, ditch 3 to allow this to direct attack from your back row that turn. So
yeah, if you're facing against a deck that salvages as part of the Climax combo, or is running like 8 door or something, I've seen some Kenshin players go up to like 20 stock.
Or like just tap self-salvage Brainstorm. If you hit the Brainstorm, I'm going to get some stock. Very cool. And then, yeah, this is a very interesting card, especially if you can bring it out like as early as possible with like standby. You might start generating so much stock, and it can get kind of ridiculous. Okay, here we have level 1 Brainstorm. It's kind of like Jackal from Nikkei, but it's a salvage
attacker and also a Brainstorm, so dual purpose.
Yeah. Unlike Jackal though, this one does not gain its power for fun, and it also does not Brainstorm 5. So yeah, I actually think this is the exact same card as a Yotsuba promo from Quince. I think.
Yeah, it's a box topper from set 2. I think. Yeah.
Okay, here we have another piece of the puzzle. So this is the Yahiko level 0. So this one has a climax combo that says when you play his choice climax, you give one of your characters on reverse search. And then additionally, his other effect, you can pay 1, rest 2 of your characters to top check 3 and add a character to your hand from among them, send the rest to waiting room. So this has a pretty neat interaction with... I guess not specifically, because that Kaoru can sack any
well, basically, Yahiko has his own decks, and it's actually quite fun, so we'll get to that when we get there.
Let's see. This is a early play. Wait, this is not early play. I thought this was an early play the first time I read it.
Yeah.
And then, so this card, on play, if you have 4 more, you can refund 1 stock, and then on play heal. So this is just a 1 stock healer, basically. Oh, this is the 2 soul trigger deck.
So this deck is this card is built for the Sagara 8 stock soul deck. On play you can pitch a 2 soul climax with 2 soul triggers. To salvage another climax with 2 soul triggers. In this set there are 2 stock souls, both with Sagara, and then the generic Kenshin 2 soul from the trial deck. Basically this is free stock swap free climax swapper for that 8 soul stock soul deck.
And it's also a stock bomb.
Yep.
Nice. Oh, I see our first foil coming up. Here we have a 1/1 hand encore, just like a the standby special. And our first foil is going to be the SR Hajime. So he has the spy trait, unlike a lot of the other blue characters. They have that Oniwa Banshu trait, but he has the spy trait.
Yeah, basically this guy is just he is the one that like tests Kenshin, and it turns out he's like actually on our side, and he's like a spy for the government.
Yeah, I know. I noticed looking through the set, he actually has quite a number of cards.
He's one of the main characters.
Okay,
so.
yeah.
And I really like the flavor in this set for him. As a spy, he has a lot of like top check effects, or gives your other characters of himself like the top check effects.
So like even this card, when you play a Pants Climax, you give 2 of your characters 1k power, and on attack, top check, top or bottom.
Yeah, so a lot of like top deck interactions,
knowledge and stuff
with his cards.
Okay, let's see. Moving right along, and for our rare, we have Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, so we were talking about how his exact character has another big body chaser. This is the card in question. 3k, and your opponent can't side.
Well, neither character
can side if you have 5 more hand, and then he's also a chaser. So really, really obnoxious card.
Yep. All right, another standby staple, 2/2 10k hand encore. This one is on play, drop search, and also when this attacks, you can pay 1 to look at the top card of your opponent's deck and put it on top or bottom. So it can be a pretty annoying card.
But most importantly, he's Yahiko.
Yeah, the Yahiko name.
So like he's super good.
Oh, our first double R, we have Aoshi. So this is Bunny Girl at home.
Yeah.
On play, heal, and then climax combo with Pants. On attack, pay 1, discard 1, gain 1k, and perform the following action 3 times. Icy Tail 2.
Yep.
So your opponent mills the bottom 2, and then you burn X, where X is the number of climaxes.
Wait, isn't it just if you hit a climax? Or is it actually Icy Tail?
No, it's actually Icy Tail.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah, but so unlike my from Bunny Girl, where it's just like mill bottom 2, if they hit a climax, you burn 2. This one is just burn equal to the number of climaxes. So the damage spread is going to be overall lower, but it's going to be able to rip through your opponent's deck the same amount.
Yeah, but and naturally, this card is weaker as a result of not needing to have like
have
a lot of setup,
3 or more other characters, and 5 or less hand, and 4 or more unique names in memory. So like, but overall, solid card nonetheless. Who needs some space for doublers? Okay,
here's another Oni Waba.
Yeah,
10k beater. On reverse with the pants climax. You can
top check 3, add 1, discard 1. So it's like a cycle.
Yeah, some nice filler.
Oh, we have the classic Milim Twin Drive, 4K on my turn, and Twin Drive. That's always been a very strong profile, I feel, just like as a filler profile, which just swings over whatever. All right, now here is a card of all time. This card is really, really good, the 1/1 Karu. So this is a card that is meant to be played in the 8 door deck.
Yeah.
And so this card can rest itself to choose one of your... Oh, first you look at the top card of your deck. You can either leave it there or send it to waiting room. And then you choose one of your characters, give it 2k. And then when you play a door climax, you choose one of your characters and give it on attack, reveal top. If it's level 1 or higher, put it into stock. So really, really strong effect in conjunction with her second effect, where you can just look at the top card. It's like, oh, it's a level 1 or higher. We're just going to leave it there. And then reveal the card off the top in order to just get that free stock.
Yeah, this card is also just specifically designed to have great synergy with the level 1 Kenshin Karu combo.
Right.
They basically designed these 2 cards hand in hand, and it turns out that is quite powerful.
Yeah, very, very strong. Here we have one of the 2 different versions of Unwavering Conviction, which is the level 3 Kenshin Door Climax. So this one has 2 versions. One is when he is the Hitokiri Batose still.
Yeah.
And then this is the like modern day version where he is like looking to like atone for his crimes and just be like a normal protector of justice. And so the 2 arts are I think I've seen like every single Kenshin player, whenever they play this combo, they play like 2 copies of each, just so they can have that flavor of both sides of the coin.
Rando would never.
Yeah, I literally would never. If I have the choice to run all cards the same art, I will run all copies of the same art, because I just don't want to give my opponent the chance of having like any extra information of like, let's say like I salvage like the Batose version and then I play the modern day version. It's like, oh, he knows exactly, I have I have the Batose version in hand, but yeah.
Yeah, we're playing Weiss, so it's just a lot of things about Weiss is just expressing your love for the franchise. So you totally get it. That's why we all love like the Licorice ABCDs, like the Kenshin ABs. It's nice to be able to have a bunch of different options.
I will say though, I think if you have four different options, I think it's probably fine, because like unless your opponent is like really locked in on remembering which is which, then like
I mean any information is information.
Yeah. A friend of ours plays like Hololive, and I mean like one specific friend in Hololive, because like a million of our friends play Hololive, but his deck has like for Marine climaxes, it's 1 non-foil, 1 foil triple R, 1 promo like borderless, and 1 promo foil borderless. And so like every time I play against him, I'm like, so which one's it here? Okay, so next we have Karu. This is a brainstorm for the
the Stocksoul deck.
Oh, I found out about this card last night. This card's kind of sick. It's like Potion Master Rimuru, where you marker, and then you can send the marker to stock.
But he chooses violence.
Yeah, he chooses violence. Instead of pay 2 heal, it's pay 3 burn.
So, and the marker that you can get, it's only for the I think she's the healer or apothecary.
Yeah, it's the doctor girl, Megumi, right?
Yeah.
Is there what was the relationship between this guy?
I don't know.
Okay.
He's just a guy.
Okay, our next double R, we have Mr. Spy Man.
Spy.
Hajime. So this is a 1/0 combo. This guy also chooses violence because his climax combo is on attack reveal top. If it's a Meiji trait character, you add it to your hand, and then you also get to pop an opponent's cost 0 back row character.
Right, so our first foil of the box is designed to specifically have synergy with his own level 1 climax combo. You can assign those top check effects to your level 1 combos and then activate the top check first. If it's like a climax or event, then you mill it, and then you'll be able to...
Well, you actually get to bottom deck
or bottom deck it, and then you'll be able to confirm that you actually plus and get to pop a back row.
Yeah. Historically, though, the problem with this kind of combo has been if you just hit one first and then your opponent doesn't have any back row for you to pop, then like you're incentivized to play combo, but at the same time you won't get that extra value of being able to pop their back row. That's historically been the problem with these profiles. Okay, 2-1 refund backup. 1-2 event, your opponent mills 14, and then you reveal a top card of your deck, and if it's a Meiji character, you add it to your hand.
Yeah, that's a card.
This is definitely a card that combos well with the
If you have
level 3 Sagado.
Yeah, if you have a billion stock, then go for it.
Not this level 3 Sagado. This is the level 3 Stock Soul combo.
Correct.
So this one is on the turn it's played, when it reverses a battle opponent, you mill 1, and if it has a soul trigger, you stand him. So as you were saying, you're incentivized to run a lot of soul triggers in this deck, like the 1-0 Karu.
Yeah.
And what were you going to say? Or?
No, yeah, so that's what I was going to say. It's that this is the payoff for trying to jam in a bunch of soul triggers. And notably, that is not tied to a climax combo. He just has that effect. But he also does have his own climax combo with a stock. So on attack, discard 2, burn 5. So he will get in for that damage.
You can do it twice if you restand. If you restand, you can just...
The deck generally goes for 2 burn 5s and then like 2 restanders. So it's like you play the 3-2 Sagra, anti-compression, the Fumio. You play the 2-1 healer that like throws your opponent's stock, and then you play 2 of these Sagras, and then you deal like 2.5 levels worth of damage.
Yeah, I feel like both Sagra combos are just like you are blasting like gigantic
Sagra
numbers.
is just the man.
He's the man.
He's the man's man.
All right, here we have modern day money counter where you have to have 5 or more on board.
Yeah, we no longer get free money. The free money is a bit too strong. There's some yen depreciation nowadays. So this does need a full board, and in exchange, you can give one of your characters 15.
Yeah, we would rather not have the power in order to.
It is what it is.
In order to have it not be full board, but yeah. Our next rare is Hakro. Adjacent. This is a 0-0-3-5. All of your opponent's characters, all of your characters cannot side. And then when he reverses battle opponent, you can send it to stock. Your opponent loses the bottom card of their stock. This card is on play. You can pay 1 to either bounce one of your opponent's characters back to hand or move it to another slot on stage.
Nice
so
flexibility.
Solid card. Probably could see use in like standby variants, big board. Your opponent has a lot of empty slots on board. You can like grappling hook their back row. Here we have the other 1-0 Clock Encore. This one is 6-5 instead of 6k though. Like, yeah.
The difference between a man and a child.
Okay. And then, oh my god. Here we have one of the most illegal cards in the set, in my opinion. So this is a 1-0 Kenshin. And this card has 2 soul for some reason. So this card's effect is, during the turn this is placed on stage from hand, when you play a door climax, and you have another Meiji trait character, you can discard a card to salvage any door climax from your waiting room back to your hand. And this card gets the JC effect until the end of the opponent's next turn, which is when your other character is attacked, you can pay 1, sack him, in order to return that other character being front attacked back to your hand. And so this combos really, really well with his 2 soul, as it allows him to side attack very easily into your opponent's board to stay alive and use that effect.
Yeah, this card is like super illegal. That 2 soul is, I've died so hard to the fact that it has 2 soul base, and then guaranteeing that the Kenshin player has another climax for next turn. I'm just like, I know that they are going to be able to continue the
aggression
soul output. You know, crazy card.
Yeah, this card in conjunction with the Karu and the level 1 combo basically just allows you to continuously go climax combo turn after turn, because this effect will be getting you back your door trigger for next turn, and then the JC effect will be getting you back your combo for next turn, and you're continuously slamming and getting extra stock with the Karu, and that's kind of the gameplay loop that the 8-door deck wants to go for until you hit the end game.
Yeah, so that card is actually a pretty interesting card. Again, going back to this guy, he always offers a lot of top check shenanigans, so on play, if you have another character, you can top check to your rearrange. This is really useful, and it's actually run in both the
blue deck?
The blue deck, but also I think it's the Stock Soul deck. But like, there's a lot of ways to abuse top check. like the Sagra, and the blue one, and then it also synergizes pretty well with I think, does Yahiko deck play it?
Yahiko deck is just playing Yahikos.
Right. Yeah, no, the Stocksoul deck is also the other deck that I think this card is running, just because your Brainstormer has the ability to like grab anything from your top 3. Also, a lot of decks run that level 0 Yahiko Mill 2 Climax, so it's like if you see there's a Climax, you follow
up with that.
It's a good way to start the turn, the top check to your rearrange, and he's also just a beater.
I could see it being run in the 8-door deck if not for the fact that you are so easily able to continuously play the board of like combo, and then this.
Yeah. And then a lot of some builds also just need to run some Blue Splash, and this is basically just a really decent card for Blue Splash.
Okay, so here we have the level 0 Kenshin RR. This is the one with the Hitokiri trait.
Yeah.
And this is the Riki of the set. So this card has the on-play Riki effect. Pay 1 and put a Meiji character from Waiting Room
to cost.
Yeah, the not from top deck cost. And then you search your deck for a level 1 or lower character, add it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. Just an overall very strong ability for your early game to secure important pieces such as brainstorms or level 1 combos, things like that. And then the other effect, on attack, you choose one of your other characters, give it 1500 till end of turn. So this is definitely going to be the most sought after RR of the Kenshin set. Just because like it's going to be run in like basically every deck.
Almost. Well, I was surprised too, but a lot of decks don't run him. Interestingly.
I would say like probably...
So like the Stocksoul deck doesn't run him. The Choice deck doesn't run him. It just so happens to be like for various reasons. But yeah, otherwise he's just... You can't really go wrong with it.
I think like if you looked at the card in a vacuum, you would think that like a lot of decks would run it.
Yeah. But again, I think that's part of the fun of Weiss is that sometimes the card's values are just based off of everything else in the deck that you're playing, and sometimes like, wow. When Riki doesn't make the cut, that means like the deck has some spice going on.
Yeah. Well, in any case, in JP, this card is definitely still the most expensive.
Yeah. Of course, this is generically going to be the card that everyone's going to want to have at their disposal. Yeah. Never bad.
Okay, so this is your like back row plussing engine for the Oniwa Banshu deck, right?
Correct. The Oniwa, like, what is Oniwaba?
Oniwaban
group. Yeah. Realistically, that deck is not super consistent just because of there's a payoff for your level 3 ICTO finisher. There's like a support that we haven't pulled that makes you want to run a deck full of Oniwabans, and it's just not worth it. This is theoretically your level 0 like brainstorm advantage.
What does this even reveal?
It reveals the level 0 combo.
Oh, that's why you want it back in your hand, because it returns itself to hand.
Correct.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. 2k backup. Enter level...
Okay, yeah. This one was uncommon. Okay, this is the climax swap. This is the only climax swap of the set,
so
I believe?
It can go in... Well, the Stocksoul Saga...
Oh, yeah, this is the only
But this is generic.
This is only generic. Yeah. What is this on?
That card's pretty interesting.
When the character facing this attacks, your opponent mills 3?
Yeah, it's very weird.
Huh.
Very interesting. They can't even decide to prevent them from not milling.
Oh, yeah, because it just says when the character facing this attacks.
Yeah, feels like kind of like a troll tech card. If you're like money matching a best of 5 and your opponent's playing a deck that like really relies on their kind of like top deck or like number of cards in the deck. You're like, I'm going to slash in like 3 of these and just trialing them. Have fun.
This is another 2. I see 2 soul in the card text of this card. So it's level assist, and then when you play a 2 soul climax, you can top check 3 rearrange.
Yeah, so this is supposed to go alongside not only your level 1 Saga combo, but also the level 3 Saga combo to confirm their restands. However, most Stocksoul decks don't actually run this because there's another package that's just a bit better in terms of power assists. So you kind of just hope you run enough triggers in your deck and just nat rip milling a trigger.
We have anti-reverse combo, or anti-reverse event counter. Then this level 0, a profile that I have been coming around to a lot lately.
This is a Swimsuit Kobayashi saver, right?
Yeah. Or
Tap
like,
soap,
I mean,
give-
like there's a lot of
Yeah,
cards,
there's a lot of cards.
that have this exact pairing of effects.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, tap it to give 1500 to one of your characters, and then when this card is in your back row and your other character dies, you can sacrifice this to bring that character back. So it's kind of like a free encore.
Yeah, it's like running extra copies of your climax combo, sort of.
Yeah, like you can give encore to characters that don't have encore, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of like that sort of thing. Oh, we have our second foil. Triple R level 3 Stock-Soul. Powerful technique using all his strength. And as you said, he's the man.
He is the man.
So this card is him being the man. We have 2-1 Karu. This is a card that I contemplated using potentially for the standby choice deck. So this card is a front 1k, and then if you are at level 2 or higher, you can pay to discard a character and summon the level 3 Kenshin standby combo from your waiting room, which is, if this is in your front row, all of your characters gain 1500. So this card would allow you to assemble a really, really big board at level 2 in combination with that 3-2 Kenshin. And I ended up not running it just to prioritize other cards.
Yeah,
but
and it's always going to be about opportunity cost, especially when you're playing a standby deck and your board is very occupied for slots.
yeah, I mean, like I think that like that deck wants to prioritize its like really silly end game plan over just having a big board and doing normal standby things. But I definitely think that that is a direction that you can take the deck if you want to just play for a big board and you can use cards like the money counter.
Yeah.
So definitely an option. 3-2 Hajime. So this is another pants. All the blue climaxes in this set are pants, I believe.
Yeah, so if you wanted to build your Husbando deck with just him, once again, he has a top trick effect. Because basically all of his cards do.
Reveal the top card of your deck on play, and if it is a Meiji character, you get to bottom deck one of your opponent's level 3 or lower front row characters.
Because his climax combo needs to direct attack.
Ah, pay 1, ditch 1 on direct to deal 3, and then give a character 1k. You know what I think is really funny is that if you triple this, then like realistically, the power is not going to matter.
It is not.
I mean, like,
Yeah, it's there.
okay, but like, what if? Okay, actually, no, never mind. That doesn't work.
See, that's why you play the 3-5. The top check to rearrange.
True. Okay. Okay. We haven't like really pulled any notable Megami cards yet, but like this is the Doctor character, right?
Yeah, she has two notable cards, and we'll get there when we get there. But those two notable cards are really, really, really good.
Yeah. So okay, this card though in particular I think is pretty interesting. So this says rest is to give a character 1k, and then when your other character with Sanosuke, who's Sagara, is placed on stage from your waiting room, you can pay 2 heal 1. So has to come from waiting room.
Oh wait, what?
Yep.
Oh, what card does that?
So there's 2 cards that notably do that. The first one is the Clock Encore. So you can turn his Clock Encore into a pay two Encore.
Okay.
But also the 3-2 choice combo has Hand Encore. The shuffle back into burn 4. That one has Hand Encore. So hypothetically, in the standby choice deck, I have seen it run where people run this card so that if you standby out the 3-2 and then it gets run over, you Hand Encore it back and then you pay 2 heal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you mention it, the Troll deck Sagara Fumio also has Hand Encore.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, there you go.
I guess the Sanosuke is just like
she's a healer.
Sanosuke's like, no, I'm back, and she's like, here, have a heal.
Healing. All right.
Okay, and then
Hey, look, Sanosuke.
hey, look, it's
My
that
boy.
It's that card we were just talking about. So by the way, 3 or 4 double R's
3 or 4
per box. So this is the 3-2 Sanosuke that we were just talking about. So it has no on-play effect, but it has plus 3k power during your turn, and then also has Hand Encore. And then climax combo with choice on attack. You can pay 2, discard 1 to. I was thinking the 4 from the burn 4.
Yeah.
You shuffle back 3 from your opponent's waiting room back into their deck, and then burn 4. This can be really devastating with certain like mill cards. Like the mill 14 event is like the one that people most commonly use, where you mill your opponent's deck, you get rid of all the climaxes in their deck, and then you shuffle back trash.
It's like you're wondering how you pay for all this stuff, and generally speaking, it's from standby and it's from this 1/1.
Yeah.
So
Get this out early.
you
stock
might
charge,
think
stock
this
charge,
is
stock charge.
untenable until you have like 20 stock.
Yeah.
Just refresh with 4? Nah, whatever.
This is a classic. This is
The classic.
Sengoku Basara
Yeah,
counter.
the Sengoku era sets. Give one of your characters 1500 power, and then during this turn, during battle, when on reverse of your battle opponent, you can burn 1. There is a bodyguard in the set if you wanted to play around with that shenanigan. It can actually come down on level 1 too, so I actually have thought about using that in the blue deck.
Okay.
There's some sauce you can do. Maybe if you want to play your like the Yahiko burn 1 deck, you play those as well and just like burn 1 all day.
Now here's a very interesting card. I really wish they print this effect more, by the way.
It's a very unique effect for sure.
Yeah, so this card's on play effect. This is Tsubame, by the way. I believe this is Yahiko's love interest.
That's
That's what
unremarkable character.
But like her effect is on play. You can discard 1 to search your deck for a character that has the same name as one that you already have on stage. So this just allows you to very easily secure multiple copies of like your climax combos, and is also just a global 1k during your turn. So just very solid. You could probably run this alongside like I don't know if the deck runs it, but like if you don't want to run like the 1/1, I think it was this one. If you don't want to run like this 1/1 assist for the 2 Soul Trigger deck, maybe you could like run this in order to get a second copy of like Sagara or something. It's on color, and then even though the Stock Soul combo already swings quite high, this extra 1k buff can...
Well, the Stock Soul combo doesn't actually swing for very high.
Well, it's 7k, right?
Yeah, but it's like you would like to play some extra sources of power just in case your opponent kind of like tries to wall you off. And because it is an on reverse combo.
Yeah.
You might be less inclined if it was like on attack, but the power definitely helps quite a bit.
Okay, so here we have the third piece of the puzzle. So this is the 1/0 Karu. It really took us this long to pull a common, by the way. So this Karu is from 500, and it has a Soul Trigger because of course it does. And this also has a Soul Trigger because of course it does. So this card's effect is a climax combo with a different choice climax.
It combos with the same choice as this guy.
As this one, yeah. So this choice climax says, on play of the climax, you can sacrifice a character with Yahiko in the name. Until last night, Mike thought it was you discarded a character with Yahiko in the name.
Yes, exactly. It's way better as a set.
Yeah.
But this card and this combo is why all the level 0 Yahikos gain so much more value than just their printed effects.
Yeah, so like you can use their on-play effect and then sacrifice them for this Karu for what the combo does. So what the combo does is you sack the Yahiko and then you play this one from your waiting room, this 2/0, and then you give it 3k power until end of turn. And so this Yahiko is a 2/0, 4k, but realistically he's going to be 9k because he gains 5,000 from his effect. And then when his battle opponent becomes reversed, if you have the same choice climax in the climax area, you get to burn 1.
Fairly unassuming package, I would say, but there's a lot of synergy that goes into Yahiko deck. For example, you are able to quite often use the plusing effect of the level 0 combo, where you pay 1, tap 2 characters to top check up to 3 any character. You also just turn up the aggression quite a bit, starting at level 1, by presenting usually 2 copies of this Yahiko through 2 copies of the Karu. They're just gigantic on attack, 9/5 on defense. You put on the onus on your opponent to try to reverse these Yahikos if you don't want to give them 3+2s. But even if your opponent reverses these, it kind of just gives you more reverse targets on the next turn anyways. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's also just like 0 stock if you want to hard play them. So the deck just has a lot of extra resources to play with because your finisher doesn't actually cost anything.
Yeah. So my favorite play with this that I saw in a gameplay video when I was like checking out this deck was past your first turn of like changing into these, right? You draw another one of these, you use their effect, you tap like all your stuff, including these, you play the climax, you sack this, you bring it back.
Yeah.
So because it just sacrifices any Yahiko, so it's just like, okay, I'm gonna tap this to get cards, and then I'm back.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna feature this deck in an upcoming gameplay video, and yeah, we're gonna show you guys how obnoxious these cards can be. Very unassuming cards, but in practice, it's quite strong.
We're gonna show you how to tap your whole board.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna be it for our first box. Did I miss a rare somewhere? Oh wait, no, there's still another rare in this.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
don't we have a foil?
Yeah. We do have a foil. Okay. Hey, look, a foil.
Yeah, it's a foil. What is that?
Okay, this is the level 0 on play and on attack give 1,500.
Oh, yeah.
So, solid profile. Kind of like a solid filler profile.
Yeah, it's nice to have.
It's filler, yeah. And then for our last rare... Oh, we have...
It's like all of the Onibawa group.
like at the very end of the pack.
Yeah.
So we have the level 0 Aoshi combo. So this one is during your turn, if you have another Meiji character plus 1500, and then on climax placement, this gains 2 effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. The first one is when this gets front attacked, you bounce it back to your hand, which allows you to continuously use it for Aoshi's Resonance to get more cards. And then also, the character facing this card cannot side attack, so your opponent is going to front him, and he is going to go back to your hand. But the how do you deal with this card being like so low power though?
You don't. That's just one of the inherent flaws of this package. Is the combo doesn't actually give you solid advantage, and most of your advantage is going to come from your back row. The deck is 8 pans, so it's not as if you triggering climaxes will help you with the hand fixing. So like the deck just does have quite a lot of issues if you are trying to play like the Oniwaba group deck. I have like built a 8 pans generic good stuff deck that uses this resonance package, mostly because I really appreciate this guy's first effect of when your character triggers a climax, you can give a character 500 and twin drive.
Yo, we are Mushoku Tensei out here.
So it kind of like fixes like, hey, trigger climax, I'm gonna refresh 5 or something like that, you know. So but otherwise, not super great, I think.
Yeah, thinking back though, this effect, or like this variations of this effect, I think like are Roxy and this like the only 2 cards that have that?
I can't think of much else, honestly.
Because this is a really powerful
It's
effect.
a really powerful effect, but it does have quite a big deck building cost to it, especially if you're trying to splash it into a deck that like is not kind of like this themed.
Well, I mean, like you have to choose an Oniwaban character in order to to gain the 500 and the twin drive.
Oh, does this have to choose Oniwaban?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. All
right, never mind.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
But that is going to be our first box. We'll do some quick cleanup, come back with our second. So we'll be right back in just a sec. So let's see. What double R's have we not?
Moving right along. So we have the level 0 Sagura, the Searcher Kenshin, the level 0 Hajime, and then the level 3 Aoshi.
So we haven't gotten
So
like...
we don't have the level 1 Kenshin and
Kenshin and Karu. We don't have the
Kenshin
Yahiko
finisher. We don't have the Yahiko level 0. There's a
the
level 3
Megumi healer.
There's a good amount of cards that we are still excited to look forward to.
Yeah.
To pull.
This one is a horizontal going first card, whereas we previously had like a vertical going second. So I think it's interesting that they have multiple different styles within the same set. Okay. For our first rare, we have the Tsubame, level 1. The Cloner. Okay, and for our first double R, we do have a repeat, unfortunately. But we will be looking at all of the double Rs at the end, even the ones that we did not pull. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's one that we haven't pulled yet. Level 0 Yahiko. So this one is on play, gain 1500. And then when this attacks, you can ditch one to look at top 4 for a Meiji character and add it to your hand. Send the rest to waiting room. So a great way to just get through the deck and discard unwanted cards, while also being a Yahiko name for the Yahiko deck if you just need random Yahikos lying around to change into the 2-0.
Also quite nice that he is a respectable power level at level 0.
Yeah, being able to swing for 3-5, always appreciated. Yeah. This 2-1
This 2-1 is a pretty good card. Nowadays, in the era of anti-burn and big standby, this card being able to bounce something on demand is really nice. Also has the on-play effect of being able to ditch a character to salvage anything.
Well, ditch one card
ditch one card to salvage anything. So it'll help you with those decks that have low hand fixing like Stock Soul and stuff.
And we've seen this previously in sets like Macross.
Macross Delta has it, yeah.
And
just if you want to do the cheeky 1-2 combo, you do have the back row saver.
Yeah. So you sack this to bounce, and then you sack this in your back row to bring this back, and then you sack this to bounce. So if you really, really just want to annoy your opponent, or you really need to get multiple things off the board, that is a combination that you can go for.
Yeah.
Oh, our first foil is a Oni Wabanshu guy.
Look at that. That is a
This
peak
is
male physique.
You may not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like. So this card is on play if your opponent's front row has only one character and it is a cost 0, you can just pop it. And when this becomes reversed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is an Oniwaban character, you can put this into memory. What card needs memory for Oniwaban?
It's the level 0 support for the Icy Tail, where if you have all 4 characters of the Oniwaban, stock character, the henchman, then the 3/2 gives all of your the name of the guy.
All Aoshi.
All Aoshi.
This
the
Aoshi.
effect of... No, any Aoshi.
Oh, any Aoshi?
But basically him.
Oh, okay.
The effect where you can, on attack, look at top card of your opponent's deck and then put it on the top or put it on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you can activate that effect first. If it's climax, put it on the bottom and then Icy Tail them from the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. We have Aoshi's level 0 combo. Is that assist? Is that just another Aoshi or?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It is also a front 2k and also on play. You can play a character from your hand for free and then I think they get 2k.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, with that knowledge of the top card of your opponent's deck, I feel like it would have been a really good Hajime card, but they're like not really like affiliated with like that.
No,
right?
no, it's just
they just
the
both happen to be
two
blue.
foil / antagonists to Kenshin just are put both in blue.
Okay. We looked at that already.
Yeah.
Level 3 Kenshin. This is the standby combo. So this one, in addition to giving everything 1500 while it's in your front row, has a climax combo. On attack, if you have his standby in play, you can pay 2. Your opponent mills their entire deck, and then you top check 2. No, you gain Crush on this card's effect, and then gain 2k. So another way to just like get through an opponent's like compressed deck, I guess. But you also have the option of running this 1/2 event to mill just 14 in case your opponent like just refresh and you want to not mill them the entire deck. You just want to mill them some of their deck.
Quite unconventional way to deal with conventional problems.
Mm-hmm. 3/2 Sagara restand. The Resonator again. Can we get some new rares, please? New rare, poor favor. Oh, new double R. Nice. Cool. All right, so this is the level 0 Tsubame. So this one has like the bell effect where you can, when your opponent starts their attack phase, you can pay 1, clock yourself the top card of your deck, and then you can bounce herself. You bounce herself back and one of your other characters. So it can give you a lot of advantage in the level 0 game in exchange for opening up your lanes, potentially taking some extra damage, in addition to actually taking 1 extra damage from the cost. But the other effect on this card is on play, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a Meiji trait character, this card's soul does not decrease when side attacking, so it allows her to safely side attack into your opponent's board and then stay alive to use her other effect.
Yeah, it synergizes really well. Generally speaking, one of the weaknesses of these type of cards is they are very low power, so they lose a lot of effectiveness once you get to level 1 because you're not able to kill their characters, so you have to side for less soul damage. But this card kind of mitigates that issue.
Yep. You know, I kept getting mixed up between this one and the one from Ayakashi Triangle, because that one has Ditch Climax Salvage. And so I kept thinking that this was a Ditch Climax Salvage.
They are both in the camp of having relevant second effects on the Bell profile. I think a lot of Bell profiles don't have a relevant second effect. Bell doesn't. Ainz doesn't, unless you're playing the Ainz deck. The Guilty Gear one, I think, just doesn't have a second effect. So yeah, there's it's nice that they're giving relevant second effects to these Bell profiles nowadays.
We have 1/1 unreversible by cost zeros, but with a soul trigger, because why not?
Because. Yeah, so the Saito 2 one does have like a package that goes along with it that there has seen some play. So the 1/0 on play, you can not on play, but you can rest himself to marker this particular card, and then you can also rest himself to swap into the 2/1. And the 2/1 is if you're level 2 or higher, then he gives global 1000 equal to all your characters.
Or there is a marker.
And there is a marker.
Or. So if you cheat this out at level 1, he still gets the effect.
But
if you hard play him at level 2, then he gets the effect.
But he gives all of your characters 1,000 times your current level. And also has the effect where when you trigger a climax, you can pitch a climax to discard. So nice for like pants triggers and all that stuff. So this is like the defensive version because he also goes global of 1,000 during your opponent's turn. And then during your turn, you cheat into this, and then you give a bunch of power during your turn.
Yeah. This is very similar to the Misaki package
from Bane Dream. Yeah, I think this is one of the preferred options for the Sakura endgame because it just gives the most power. Sakura doesn't have any extra base power, and he needs to reverse, and it's on a stock so being able to play this package allows him to attack for like 13-5 or something. Yeah.
And for our rare, we have the Saito Brainstorms. This is pay 1, rest, search Brainstorm. And then during the opponent's turn, he is a cost 0 bomb. So
interesting.
Very, very interesting card. If you just like frontline this dude.
Hey, you know what? It's a decent turn 1 play. If you want your Brainstorm to do I don't know, something else.
They can't even counter this with like a card that gains a level because it's a cost 0 reverser.
Yeah.
Cost 0 reverser is not something that we see very often outside of level 1. Outside of level 1. But... Well, actually, no. Cost 0, like specifically reversers. Like we see a lot of cost 0 removal bombs, right? Like cost 0 stock bomb, cost 0 clock bomb. But like we rarely ever see cost 0 reverser at all in like Modern Weiss.
So it's pretty interesting because like this card, if you just have it alive for your opponent's turn, even if they hit level 1, they're probably going to lose their guy that tries to reverse it. So that's kind of obnoxious.
And then if they side attack, then you get to keep your brainstorm.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you want to give me my brainstorm? All right, dude.
Thanks, bro. It's like, I'll take it. Ooh, level 3 Kenshin.
Yeah, and I don't think we've pulled this card as a rare yet, right?
We haven't pulled this card at all, and we also have not pulled the level 3 that it goes with.
Yeah.
So this is Musashi, but instead of dealing level +1 like a normal Musashi, it deals level +2, but it requires you to reveal 2 of the Riki in your hand in order to resonate for the cost.
Right. So the double rare Kenshin finisher also has a cost of
double resonate.
Double resonate with 2 of this card. So the idea is like you play 2 of those Climax Combo Kenshins and 1 of this, and that's your end game board.
Yeah, I saw back when they were first revealing the cards, I got a tweet reply from Kai, like WCC Kai, because he likes Kenshin a lot, and he was saying that the reason that these require double resonate is because Kenshin's like signature technique is like 2 sword slash.
Oh, okay.
And then he said that the Aoshi's the reason that it does it 3 times is because his technique is a triple sword slash.
Ah, very interesting.
So that's like the flavor behind these
2 Kenshin, reveal 2 Kenshins, burn 2 twice, so a lot of 2s. And then this
one's 3.
A bunch of 3s. No, yeah. Very cool. Always love the flavor.
And so this is going to be our second foil. Hopefully we can pull the double R of that. If we can get 2 boxes of quadruple double R, would be really cool. Hello, Mr. Sagura. Foil. Okay, so no SP or OFR in our boxes, unfortunately, but we have the 1/1 Karu. This is the 7/5 hand encore. Oh, so this one also... So they all go to memory in one way or another. This guy's a Soul Trigger too, what the... And our rare, we have not 3500 Macross Delta profile.
Card is significantly less strong when you are not killing things on your turn.
Yeah, so it is the start of opponent's attack phase. You may mill 1 if it is a level 2 or lower character. This can return back to your hand if it gets front attacked.
Yeah. Bodyguard.
Oh, this is the bodyguard?
Yeah. If your opponent has 3 or less climaxes, this gets -1 level. On play, gets some power and great performance.
Okay.
And then if this card is still alive on your turn, you can clock 1 card. If you don't, he dies.
Bruh.
It's fine. I think it's cheeky. I've considered using him, honestly. Because, like, you use him at level 1, and you probably just, like, go +2.
Sure.
From your side lanes not dying.
Okay, this is, like, so much harder to use with the event counter, though, because, like...
Yeah. But, I think one of the weaknesses of, like, if you're going into blue is that, like... You really want those 1/0s to live. It's not easy to get back because if you're playing blue, you're probably playing Search Brainstorm. So it's a good way to, like, in certain scenarios, protect your board.
All right, final pack. It could be a double R. And it is. Oh, we got another Ricky.
Nice.
Nice.
A dupe, but we always like to see the Rickies.
Especially when it's this. Yeah, when it's this one. Very nice. And that is going to do it for our second box. So we'll be right back with the double Rs that we did not pull. And then we're also going to double check if there are any relevant rares that we should talk about as well. And we'll be right back to talk about those in just a sec. Okay, guys, we're back with the remaining 4 double Rs that we did not pull, starting with the level 3 Megumi. So this is basically like the Horizon early play from Dengeki Bunko, which was an exceptionally strong card. Early play 4 or more, gains 1,000 power for each opponent's back row. And then on play, if you have 2 or more other Meiji trait characters, you can discard a card to choose any card in your clock and add it to your hand. So it can choose from any position in the clock, and it can even grab events or climaxes, which is really, really strong.
Yeah, so we are moving into the era where our early play healers also offer hand fix. So Horizon, this Megami, like the Yuka from Blue Archive, good stuff.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with them.
A lot of early plays are moving either towards being able to heal and hand fix, or being able to choose between one of 2.
Heal or cantrip.
Yeah, or like a top check 3 or a top check X or something like that. So this is one of those, and yeah, just really,
4
really
more
strong,
best condition.
Really strong card. Level 0 Karu Brainstorm. So this is a tap self salvage brainstorm. This is the tap self salvage brainstorm of the set, and then also has the on play ability. You can pay 2 to search your deck for a climax that you also have a copy of in your waiting room already. So if you do not get that 1/0 Kenshin that lets you on play of a door climax, you like ditch one salvage door climax, you can use it in that deck to grab the climax, or you can just use this generically in pretty much any deck just to use that on play ability and the brainstorm to just get what you need.
Salvage Brainstorm already is just, for the most part, preferred as the brainstorm of choice, so this is just an extra layer of insurance on top.
Okay, next we have the level 1 Kenshin and Karu combo. So this is like honestly like a pretty crazy card. So the climax combo is on attack with a door. You can top check up to 5, and then you can add a Meiji character from among them to your hand and send the rest to waiting room. So already off to a great start with being able to top check up to 5 cards, get through a lot of cards in the deck. But also on attack, if you have 2 or more other characters, you get to do a Crush effect. So you get to look at up to 2, choose one of them to leave on top of your deck and send the rest to waiting room, and gain 2k power. So it swings for a solid 7k power. And then also synergizes extremely well with the Karu 1/1, because the Karu gives the on attack reveal top. If it's a level 1 or higher, you get sent to stock. So you combine that with this in order to verify one of the top 2 cards to be that level 1 or higher to send to stock.
Yep, play 2 of these, play one of the Tuso Kenshin JCs,
Have a
the
back
1/1 Karu in the back row.
With like brainstorm or something.
It's like, alright, well, I'm doing this for the rest of the game.
Yep. So extremely strong, and it allows you to get through the deck very easily and consistently and frequently. So very, very strong combo. And then our level 3, our last double R. So this is the 2 sword / Kenshin. So on play heal, if you have 2 or more other characters, this gets plus 1k. And then climax combo is on attack. You can pay 2, discard a Meiji Romantic Story character in your hand, and then reveal 2 copies of the Ricky in your hand. So this one right here. And then you get to burn 2 twice.
Yeah. Guaranteed burn 2 is very strong. However, the cost is naturally fairly steep. But if you can't amass all the resources and hand fixing to be able to rip 2 copies of these, plus maybe one of the Kenshin Musashi, then you're doing 2, 2, 2, 2, Musashi plus 2, and then the triple swing.
And 3 swings.
So quite a lethal finishing card if you can afford it.
Yeah. The actual like hand size constraint is not gigantic, but you need a lot of specific cards in order to pull it off, because you need combo Musashi Ricky climax plus 2 to discard, which is only 8 cards, but 6 specific.
Yeah.
And then 2 have to be characters. So can be a little bit tough to pull off, but definitely feasible. And the double Kenshin plus Musashi endgame is probably what you're going to be looking to construct when you're playing that particular
And there
deck.
are ways to kind of just play around with your endgame setup depending on your opponent's deck situation. So that's why a lot of decks will also run the following rare that we have yet to pull in our box that we want to talk about. This 2-1. So this 2-1 has a frontal assist 1500, but also on play you can send the top card of your opponent's stock to waiting room and then put any card from the waiting room back into their stock. Generally speaking, you want to put a climax back into the stock. And then you'll do something like follow it up with the level 3 trial deck Sagara. This guy. So let's say your opponent has, it's fairly compressed. Maybe they have like 15, 20 cards in their waiting room and they have like 2, 3 climaxes. You play the Megumin, shuffle one of their climaxes into their stock. You play the Saga, and you super decompress them. And sometimes this might be a better route compared to just straight going into Kenshin, because maybe the decompression will net you actually more damage than if you were to just do straight finishers if they're super compressed. So this is a nice 2-card combination that Kenshin has to offer that allows you to go into different lines compared to just trying to brute force everything.
Yeah, or you play this, and then, oh, well, you just mill them for 14.
Yeah. Genshin has a lot of really fun cards that can mess with your opponent's compression, but it's really nice that both of these cards just are generically also just pretty decent cards. Front 15 is fine, and then the Saga can heal if you don't need it.
Every time I see 2-1s with just front 15, just like no level, not level assist,
for-
literally
just
just front
for
15.
fun.
It's just like, okay, dude, like, you're cool. Okay, next we have the Yahiko level 0, which is, it's just a 3k clean cut, which would ordinarily not be too notable, but it's especially notable in this set for 2 specific reasons. One of them is because the Yahiko combo level 0 is one that you definitely want to be trying to like slam as early as possible during your like level 0 game, and then you can use this to move that 0 to your back row in order to keep using on future turns, but also because this is a Yahiko himself. So another Yahiko in name that you can change with the Karu level 1 to change him into the level 2.
Yeah. The Yahiko being 3k, usually you want your clean cuts to be 3-5 because a lot of popular power lines at level 0 are 3-5, but this is mitigated by the fact that you're really incentivized to play a 1k1 at level 0, and you do have high value targets to save with that clean cut effect. A lot of clean cut effects in sets are kind of determined based on, the value is determined based on the value of the cards that you clean cut. So sometimes if you just have a bunch of like random beaters and stuff and you clean cut like just a random utility 0 that has no other effect once it's on the board, it's not as high value. But if you do have something like a brainstorm or like a level 0 climax combo that you can abuse with the clean cut effect, then the value of the clean cut becomes significantly higher. So we do see the clean cut in this set being used in a couple of different decks, but most notably the Yahiko deck for a variety of reasons that Randall just mentioned.
I definitely think that decks with level 0 climax combos like SDS
or like, is a big one,
or like the upcoming Project Sekai as well has a very strong level 0 climax combo. I think decks like those, Chainsaw Man, are the ones where these clean cuts really get the most value because you are just like so incentivized to jam level 0s in your front row and then just like go on the aggressive. So And then our final rare is the level 3 Aoshi. This is the one that you said supports the level 3 combo.
This is the payoff if you want to go into the themed Oniwaban deck. If you have all 4 of the Oniwaban like henchmen in memory, then he gets the following effect to all of your other Aoshis, where on attack you can look at the top card of your opponent's deck and either leave it on top or put it on the bottom. So theoretically this synergizes really well with the finisher, and it also does stack. So it's like if you have the nuts setup of double back row, triple front row.
Okay, dude.
But like that actually is a thing, you know? Like that's what the deck wants to do.
Sure, yeah.
So you can like attack with this, activate the first copy, see if it's clean or not. If it's a climax, you put on the bottom. If it's clean, you put on the top. Then you activate Icy Tail. And then if you have a second copy, you can check again.
Bro, we're just playing easy revenge.
But like way harder. This is like difficult revenge. Super difficult revenge because like the blue Oniwaba like henchman cards you have to play are just not super good.
Yeah.
And there is the particular level 0 Oniwaban memory goer when he gets reversed in battle,
You have to hit the top check?
You have to hit the top check, and it has to be Oniwaban. So your whole deck has to be Oniwaban because you need all 4 to be in memory, and you can't really risk not hitting top check. So it basically hamstrings you into just playing like all of like this group, and the payoff is just not super good. Generally speaking, you probably just want to play this as is.
Yeah. But that being said, if you do get that sort of setup, you are actually able to do it for fairly low stock because it's this is gonna free summon stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
so-
you could do like this to free summon the second one, to free summon this, and then overall you're paying 6
6
stock.
stock and then +1 for doing triple and paying
Yeah.
the cost on the first one. So 7 stock if you actually can get there.
Yeah. The hand is a little harder though. You do need 9 cards, 6 of which are specific.
Yeah. You do have the back row that lets you play 1+1. But again, those aren't really the issues. The issues is just getting the 4 memory and not dying before.
Well, I mean, like, I think that also because that back row is not selective because it's just top 3,
Yeah.
it could actually be hard to get all the 5 cards.
No, there's a lot of issues with this deck for sure. But yeah, that's the idea. I'm glad they made this a lot more restrictive because I don't think this is a super healthy way to determine the games.
If this was just usable in like any
If this
deck,
didn't have the memory restriction,
This would probably be
I
the
think this
play.
would be the finisher for sure. Like this double this, triple this is like so silly. Well, I mean, we see that with the likes of Chainsaw Man already, you know. So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna do it for our cards in the set, but we also do have some high rarity stuff to show you guys. So what do we have here? So we have 3 SPs. We have the Yahiko, the level 0 on attack top check 4. We have Kaoru, and we have Hajime. This is even though this is just a stamp, this is a pretty nice design, I would say. Has like a quote from the character on the left, and
I
then
think like the ways they do like these, it kind of like does kind of harken back to like the Meiji era type. I don't know. It kind of gives me that vibe.
it's like the same design that we have on the box.
Yeah. So they definitely have a theme going on there.
And then some OFRs. So this is 1 case's worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And so this is a really nice OFR. I didn't know the OFRs had like
The OFRs
stamps.
look really, really good.
I didn't know
Yeah.
they had stamps.
Yeah, some of the OFRs, even in like the Japanese version, they're still quite high just because they look so good.
I mean,
Some of them are.
I mean, these are like more SPs because they have these stamps. basically.
Basically, yeah. For example, like the 3-2, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, some SPs actually come all OFR as well. So it's like you could go the budget man's route of high rating this deck if you want, and maybe if you prefer one version over the other, you can actually choose these OFRs if you prefer.
Dude, this
leaves.
card has an OFR.
It does.
Holy,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And that's
Oh.
the finisher.
I love the leaves on this.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
This is Potion Rimuru, but angry.
Oh my! Yeah, he's just
Some of the dankest cards in the set come OFR, which is really cool.
he's just got like this big gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Kenshin Climax combo, you mentioned it does come with 2 alternate arts for the base rarity. It also comes with 2 alternate arts for the OFR as
Wait,
well.
that's crazy. That's awesome. So you could actually play one of each. You could play like one
could.
non-foil of each, one OFR of each.
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
They're all different.
That would be really nice. So, yeah, that is pretty much going to wrap up our Kenshin opening. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I'm excited to show you guys some awesome gameplay. I think Kenshin is a really fun set with a lot of very unique builds. And we're going to try to showcase those to the best of our abilities, so stay tuned.
All right. So coming up next will be our TD++, which Simu normally does the TD++, but he is on vacation right now.
So I will be showing you guys the sauce.
Yeah. And like the TD is already like quite solid. So
Yeah, spoiler alert, I'm not going to have to work very hard because Bushiro did quite a good job already with the TT++, but we're going to kind of tie up the bow on the present and going to make it as good as it can possibly be on a budget with rares and below.
Okay. And until then, this has been Randall,
And Mike,
and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
bye.